words I said.
All right, no, we're live now.
We'll squaring around. No, so
Tell me where to put this camera.
do you want to be in the camera shot a little bit more? Stop. Yeah, you can shift over a little closer. We got the big.
That's great, actually, because nobody can hear us.
It's Chris Berman and Garth Brooks.
Hey, y'all need to do a Squarin around live after midnight so you can actually curse and say the real stuff on it.
You want the real stuff?
Yeah.
So anyway, I was trying to look up your. One reason we didn't want to do a live show is Jacobs had to edit before, make sure people don't say anything crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of wild. How's your app working live now?
All right.
Oh, there.
All right.
Yeah, my family team's kind of hanging on.
Is that live show?
Well, no,
Yeah.
you're doing really good because I have my
I think we're live. Let's see. Pop it up on YouTube, right? Let's see. Huh?
You gotta
No, bro. Yes.
edit post.
All right. You
Oh, we got one person watching.
have a 46. It's him over there. You have a 46%
Are you watching?
chance of making the playoffs.
You're live right now?
I had no way to watch it. Yeah, but it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
In the free world, bro. We haven't even pushed it out. Now there's two people watching. Are you watching? Who's watching? Can anybody see this?
In fact, Ryan, you have the tiebreaker. So right now you'd be in the
got a
playoffs.
comment.
The playoffs started today. You would be in. It'd be you and me in the first
Oh,
round.
look. We're live. Check this out. What's up, everybody?
The ratio size is pretty small.
Welcome to Squarin
Yeah, I
Around.
don't know
Yeah,
why.
you look at this camera, bro.
But like, why is it like a tiny square
It's a
there?
little box, bro.
It's the whole thing. If you're wondering why we're in such a tiny box, it's such a big restaurant. My computer's been acting up all day. We're looking to get this stream off the ground, honestly.
We were concerned that some of us would be late. We were concerned some of us would be late, and it worked out really good. I was always going to be here. There was never a shot I wasn't going to be here.
Now let me ask you something. You came from Austin. I came up from San Antonio this morning. How many Teslas cut you off in traffic this morning?
I saw 3 Teslas on the way down here. Only one of them I almost took out the back end of because they slowed down.
Tesla's good for the environment, kind of, if they don't take out an entire cove of dolphins.
Good for the environment, bad for my mental health. That's my opinion. And the other part of the whole thing is that, okay, if a Tesla does cut me off and causes an injury to me, is it actually better for the environment because I will be spraying hairspray into the ozone if I get cut off by a Tesla and it crashes me and I have to go on this building? I don't have any hair. I'm going to use hairspray. It's going to be bad.
To be honest, seeing that Elon Musk runs Tesla and all that stuff, I really don't trust any of these Teslas to actually. If something bad happens, I'm expecting the very worst thing.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, to
What
happen.
do you drive?
I drive a little Chevy Malibu.
Okay, all right. And you drive a 4Runner.
Gas guzzling 4Runner.
Yeah, it's essentially the Hummer of 2020. They call it Donald Trump's Hummer, the 4Runner.
I'm about to tweet this link out, so maybe people will start joining us.
So there's that part of it. But also, I drive a 2010 Hangry accent. So it's almost like a fairer fight. Now, you and I both watched the Tyson Jake Paul fight.
We did.
And I was convinced that Tyson was going to win.
Yeah, I was convinced too. I was not, to me, 90% sure it was going to be a first round, second round knockout.
Now, some people are saying it was fixed. I'm genuinely asking because I didn't think it was fixed.
Those people are right.
Producer Jake says it was fixed.
I watch enough pro wrestling to realize when something's amiss and all that stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is obviously, to me, personal opinion, obviously don't know what the heck is going on, but I obviously knew that they were going to try to take those 8 rounds. People are going to get their money's worth and all that stuff. So, you watch enough pro wrestling and you realize that boxing, fitty UFC, it's all pro wrestling. Like
All
the
right,
characters,
hold on.
yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. And I knew there was a way around. I thought there was a time. I thought there was a time where there was a chance that it might go 3. I said 2, 8-minute rounds. I said give it the first 6 minutes. Tyson's gonna knock it out. So I understand. Okay, going 4 rounds or going 8 rounds, that doesn't shock me. What does shock me though is that it actually is. Again, neither one of us know anything. We're not, CIA. Don't come after Colton McWilliams.
I knew exactly what was going to happen last night and every night in the fight world, actually. This is what I truly know. I made $21 off of that fight last night.
I'm hoping that the IRS doesn't get it. But no, so I'm not saying I didn't think it. Because the other part of it is I don't think Tyson would take the fall. There's a lot of things Mike Tyson is. A criminal, a dirty fighter, an actor. There's a lot of things that Mike Tyson is. I do not think that he's the type of guy that's going to take the fall to try to make a quick buck. He just doesn't. I don't vibe with him. I don't think that's what it is. Now, he did open up the door for a Logan Paul fight. Logan Paul, famously a worse fighter than Jake Paul by every metric. So if that actually does happen, that they do decide.
Swing around rules.
If they actually do decide to make that fight happen, that would be a lot of fun.
All right, we finally got all the technicalities out of the way. We talked about Logan Paul. We talked about Jake Paul. We got 4 people watching right now, even before I tweeted. So, oh, no way. What the heck is that?
No, I said, oh, nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, that was me that said, oh, no way.
Welcome to Squarin Around live edition, everybody. This has been like kind of a dream of mine come true. We're live at Hangry Joe's, supporting the Bobcats. Hangry Joe's, if you don't know, support a bunch of athletes on the NIL side. Our boy Brandon shot us over a list. I am going to read that list, or at the very least, attempt to read that list. Stand by. Check this out. First of all, we got Ishmael Mahdi from the football team, Bailey Hanner, Maggie Walsh from volleyball, Anna Dunch from soccer, Caden Gums from men's basketball, Blake Matthews, women's basketball, and they're also sponsoring programs at San Marcos High School. They do a lot for athletes in and around the San Marcos community. So shout out Hangry Joe's for having us here. Shout out to people that we've already seen from the Quattro Corners cartel that we've seen at Hangry Joe's.
Yeah, no, big shout out to the guys who decided to come out and hang out with us. If you want to come hang out at Hangry Joe's in San Marcos, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be here for the next hour-ish. Hangry Joe's also helping sponsor my new belt, because every time I come over here, I feel very full. You talk about all the people they're helping. They're helping me until my appetite. It's really good food, too.
Well, I guess if you're hangry, you don't want to be hangry.
You were a little hangry earlier today.
I was super hangry earlier today. I haven't eaten actually all day, so whenever we get our food from Hangry Joe's, it'll be our first time eating. Another team, or another group of people, I guess I should say, that's going to feast today. Maybe the Bobcats on this poor Golden Eagle squad. 1-8 in the Sun Belt so far. Things are not looking good in Golden Eagle land. In the land, or I guess the house, the Hattiesburg that Brett Favre built. Colton, what are your expectations for this game? Other domination?
Yeah, well, I just expect, listen to what Scott said from y'all's last episode, if Southern Miss is as bad in the run defense as Scott says they are, it could be something similar to how the ULM game went, where we just feed everybody the ball, feed Ish, feed Deion Hankins, feed Torrance Burgess Jr. Hey, we might see Brad Jackson, continuing to run the offense.
This is the sort of journalism that we're doing over here now. Andrew has an article from my essay about Texas State's leading player.
Well, because here's the deal, I had this saved earlier, and I like the stats. What can I say?
Where's your article?
I think it's good stats. You talk about what Scott said about not being able to defend the run. Texas State has had a stable running back this entire season that when they decide to kind of lean on one of them, that's who they're going to do. You see a situation where Ish Mahdi isn't the bell cow to that. Because I have a sneaky suspicion if they are going to split up the handoffs. We thought before the season it was going to be one for you, one for you, one for you, and maybe drive. And now it has seemed that they are just going to feed Ish Mahdi. Do you think he's going to be the guy that gets the most touches today? And if so, how many touches are you looking at?
Well, it's interesting to see how I think last week I think it was mainly Hankins. He got most of the touches. Like, so it literally could be like it's just day. Like he's going to be the one because that's kind of what you've seen like this entire season. You can say it was Lincoln Berry who got the most rushing yards. Brad Jackson. Like it's just been like almost like a carousel. Like okay, who's hot hand are we going to ride?
I could lose our picture.
They'll also have pictures. So again, audio pod only. So yeah, no, I agree. I understand where you're coming with that.
But it also could be like this could be Chris's day where like he has like a monster game. Like it wouldn't surprise me if it's like today he's the one that gets the hot hand and all that.
It's just yards per carry, about 5 yards per carry this season.
It's pretty good.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
And he's right now sitting at about 770 yards. So this could be, I do not imagine him rushing for 300 yards today. But this is another one of those seasons where he had over 1,000 yards last year. He had almost, I think, 2,500 total yards last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was like 1,300. It was like 1,300 rushing yards. I think it was his all-purpose yards. It was something like kind of like I think it broke the school record.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the way I look at it as this is when you look statistically, just go off the paper, it's going to look like a down year for him because he had not been as integral in the offense as years prior. However, what is nice for Bobcat fans, I imagine, is that you can kind of trust multiple hands. That GJ Penny and Mac Leftwich has been in that regard at least, gone with the hot hands.
Yeah, and I think that's as an offense, your entire offense should be focused on like one person. Like a really good offense knows when to spread it out. Like, sometimes if Ish has a bad day, like, okay, that's cool. Like sometimes it's not your day, but like let's lean on Dion Hank. It's like hell, last week we had the freshman quarterback come in, start the entire second half, and he leads the team over 100 yards rushing.
Now, we don't do a reaction pod, but we do have reactions to the games.
Yeah.
And my reaction when I saw Brad Jackson out there was, holy cow, are we already moving away from Jordan? I was honestly a little nervous in that regard. Because I was like, is something wrong with Jordan? Why are we making this move? But I think it just goes to show how much confidence the staff has in their freshmen.
Well, and I have had separate conversations with this pretty much for the past month and a half, I think, with Cole. But when you ask this team about, or you ask any of the coaches, even the players, about injuries on the team, you really can't trust anything that they say at this point anymore. I can cite the Ben Bell situation. Now the Jordan McLeod situation, air quotes used in that in case we lose our picture again. Thanks for sticking around with us. Squarin Around live edition right here. So technical from Hangry Joe's. Shout out Hangry Joe's. But, I don't even know what to make of this team, I guess, sometimes because they're so cryptic in their responses to media questions sometimes. And also just the way that they manage different situations that they find themselves in. I don't know. Colton, as a beat writer for this team, what do you think, buddy?
A lot of things, this season has been kept close to the chest. Like it's a lot more like positive than it was. I think like last season it was a little bit more wide open. That this season, like,
now why do you think that is?
One theory I kind of theorized is like, there's an expectation for this team to like possibly compete for a conference championship
And go to
the playoffs. Like, was the playoff like? A lot of things had to go right for them to go to the playoffs. Like you probably had to beat Arizona State. You had to do like a lot of dominoes have to fall. This season, honestly, things haven't gone their way. There's Old Dominion loss. I was really disappointing. Then of course with the Louisiana loss, like I think the expectations have really when you had so many people coming back for this season, and you saw look around the conference, yes, it was not like a hard thought to be like, yes, this team reasonably should be competing for the best division title and all that stuff. And there's an outside shot that might happen, but of course everything has to fall. You have to count on a lot of things. And obviously everything hasn't gone this way, but
it's hard to believe that before the season, Texas State's shot of going to college football playoffs was minuscule at best. And you're right, a lot of things had to go the right way. But now I think even more things have to break their way if they want a shot to compete for a West title.
Well, and I guess and you'll remember the same thing, Colton, because you were at this game with me last year. Georgia Southern was our bowl eligibility game. And so I've been comparing a lot of this time last year to last time last year. A bowl game, or a bowl berth, I should say, was the standard, I guess, at this point now for our fans.
Mm-hmm.
And college football eligibility or college football playoff eligibility, all that was like everything we need. We need that right now. There's some people online that are like comparing our team, our situation to like A&M. They're like, well, A&M is rep by Adidas. How come we can't get this or that? And it's like, well, the baby steps for this program, you know?
Yeah,
But-
I think what a lot of Texas, like, I don't know, it's something that me and Mike Craven, we talked about yesterday.
Name drop.
I think there's a difference between like, what was it, disappointing to disappointment. It's like something with like UTSA, like everyone's disappointed like UTSA, well, we're not competing for conference championships. That was like everything before Jeff Traylor, like look where UTSA was. Like see where we're like Texas
I
State.
feel a lot of Frank Wilson erasure occurs when we talk about UTSA. That's fine. Please
Well,
continue.
Think about like in 2023, like before the season, before Kenny comes onto the scene, like if I came to you in the future, like, hey, when Kenny takes over, we're going to be winning like 8, maybe 7 games like these past 2 seasons. Would you think like?
First off, I would
would you sign up for that?
First off, I would have said, why didn't you tell me the outcome of Paul versus Tyson? That would be the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say would be that no, you are correct that I would take that. I would take that out. I would want those results. But here's the other thing. You talked about the standard, like, okay, hey, getting to a bowl. I don't think that was the standard last year. I think that was the hope.
Almost expectation?
Not the expectation. I wouldn't say it was an expectation. I wouldn't call it an expectation. I would say it was a hope for this team. I think now it is the standard. It is the expectation to go to a bowl game. So would you say the vibes are worse this homecoming than last one? Because this is homecoming.
Well, last homecoming was our Louisiana game, right?
No, it was the
Troy?
it was
We
the Troy
lost.
game. It was a Troy game that we lost. And it was whoever won this game was going to take the lead in the West
What?
Division. Yeah.
Our adoring audience just called this the little show dude. So, shout out. But no, I mean like
Nothing little over here.
doesn't DJ have like a saying about the standard or like habits reflect the mission? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
There's, some,
habits reflect the mission.
there's something about that.
All of these coaches from PJ Fleck all the way down to Jake Spavital, right? And the entire deal. I genuinely think that they all have fortune cookies and they crack them open before the season and they pull it out and they go like, this will be our cliche. Because in Austin, the standard is the standard. Here, habits reflect the mission. You know, beforehand, yeah, it's all cliche.
And also with Kenny and like that staff, I mean, their legit expectation is to win conference championships. I mean, they were at Incarnate Word. They won a conference championship. Like, so they know like what they know the standard they have built themselves like up to. And like, so it's not. I could see like why it's disappointing for them. Like, hey, we need to be winning conference championships. We already set standard like at Incarnate Word. We can transfer that to Texas A. You know, so it's such a weird. I say it's just been a weird season, but like we should be happy, like, hey, we're finally winning the bowl game, something like we haven't been able to do since we made like FBS and all that stuff. And yet the expectations, because like how last season went, like we almost like shot through the roof for that. It's so hard to, and I think it is a good thing. Like you should not be like you shouldn't be like content on like, okay, we made it to a bowl game, this should be outstanding. Like there always should be like another mountaintop for teams to come.
But I guess in terms of like where this team was headed, like the logical thing last year was like we need to get to a bowl game. Bowl or bust was basically the attitude.
We
And
never
then-
get that. We never get that.
So to speak, yeah. Shout out
And
Kev
here's the
and Zach.
thing, like before the Baylor game, do you think there was an expectation? Because I think the Baylor game after they upset, it was kind of like, okay, this
Yeah,
is
that's
what,
fair.
yeah.
That's totally fair because you get your first Power 5
Yeah, it's
win
their first like
ever.
25 win.
I will say that the win total before the season was 4.5 for the Bobcats. So you get that win against Baylor, and you're already a quarter of the way
Yeah.
to your win total. So yes,
Yeah. So I don't know. Now this year, I'm like, well, it feels almost like this team was expecting so much more. Like, how much more do you really want? I guess a Sun Belt title for sure.
last year they beat Southern Miss 50-30. This year I expect the same thing. That is what we talk about. We talk about expectations and like matching those expectations. For a Bobcat fan to come into this game today for homecoming, you need to expect at least 7 touchdowns. Now I know that's a lot. I know people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's like a crazy amount." But I genuinely believe that if you want your program to continue to like make those marks. This is a team in Southern Miss that is no good. If they were good, we would have spent the last 30 minutes breaking down their defense and what their running game look like and what's their quarterback going to do. But none of that matters because they're trash. They're not any good. And Jacob has said during the Dominion game, if I'm wrong, throw bricks at me. This is my brick game. If I'm wrong, throw bricks at me. I do not think that Texas State should have a shot to now win this game, not only by the spread, but they need to put at least 7 scores on the board.
And you know what? Okay, I'll take, since we assigned blame 2 podcasts ago on who should get the blame for what, I'll take the ODU one. That's my cross to bear. Mea culpa. But I don't even think it should be my fault if we lose. What the heck am I doing out there? I'm not responsible for anything. Colton got challenged by a coach, Dexter McCoyle, and he expected a win against Louisiana. That one's on him. So if I have to take ODU, Dex has to take Louisiana. And the Colton McWilliams curse is alive and well. Don't bite the ring, or don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
Don't go against the ring, maybe.
Don't go against the ring.
When was the last time you kissed the ring, Andrew?
I haven't kissed a ring in a while. I haven't kissed a ring in a long time. Colton, are you take care of someone's team?
The person I put on, I'm like, I don't know
Are you
what.
expecting to win?
But like, when you're looking at this Southern Miss team, like how their season goes, and then you look at the spread, like it's a 28.
Yeah.
What's the saying? You know, good teams always go to
Yeah.
the spread. Like,
Good teams win. Great
good
teams
teams go to
cover
the
that.
spread. Yeah. So yeah, like when a team is 1-8, like yes, I should expect this team to not only beat them, but like prove to yourself, like, hey, we are a bowl eligible team. We should be beating, you know, teams that have 1-8 records by a reasonable amount of points. It shouldn't be like the hard, you know.
Good time to remind everyone who's tuning in and watching. Jacob just fixed the camera again. Thank you for checking out Squarin LIVE live from Hangry Joe's in San Marcos.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dream come true, despite the rolling shutter and other things happening in the background. It took kind of a while to set this ish up, too. I was in the background. I was doing all this technical mumbo jumbo that nobody cares about, what I'm talking about right now. We're here to talk about the podcast. It's not just the football team that's kind of cooking right now. This team, or this game, it's kind of like you should expect to win. I expect to win. Everybody around us expects to win today. Colton, how is the rest of the athletics department looking? I know you've covered soccer. I know you've covered volleyball. We're in like the throes of like the busiest time of the fall.
Oh yeah, we're at that point where like we're in what I call crossover season. So like we still have teams playing volleyball, soccer, football, but now we're also getting basketball. Basketball's getting ramped up. So to kind of give y'all a recap, Texas State soccer makes it to their first ever conference tournament final for the first time since 2018. They beat a Coastal State first round. They shut out App State 2-0. Go to the semifinals. Defeat a Coastal Carolina for 4-0. Like it's one of the biggest like tournament shutouts in program history. And they battle like a really good James Madison team. Like the James Madison team won the regular season title, but in this game, Texas State plays with James Madison. Texas State gets in the 0-2 hole. They come back to tie the game 2-2, but unfortunately, James Madison they score a last-minute goal at 88 minutes. But it really showed. But to me, it really showed like how far this soccer program has come. This is a team that throughout the regular season was one of the very top teams of the conference. In the conference, was an expectation for all Texas State teams. Like we should be having a conference contender. And this was a season like you saw like all the hard work, like Coach Holman since he's took it over. You're beginning to see like what his product, like what it is, and like that expectation is significantly rising. Like we saw like Texas State play draws against Big 12 teams. Like that is a really significant like turning point. I mean, I think they played Baylor to like a 1-1 draw. That is a really good result against for a mid-major team playing against a power conference team. That is a really good result for Texas State. So like to see this program, to see where they started now, there's an expectation going to the next season. Like this team could legitimately like challenge for like the regular season title and also finally get like coveted automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
I will say that draw against Baylor was a blessing and curse because I saw it brought up when Texas State was rumored to go to Pac-12 as a reason that Texas State should be thinking about going to a larger conference.
Maybe this is me going back again. Maybe we should be grateful that this team, full of potential as it is, full of all these hopes and dreams at the beginning of the season, is like figuring it out now, right? They get Southern this week. They get Georgia State next week. Another team figuring things out right now. UTSA. On the cusp of bowl eligibility. They got a big win last night over the UNT Mean Green. We're figuring things out over here, too.
So back to the other sports that you were talking. I don't know why you went on a tangent
Yeah, I
about
know. It was just on my mind.
Coach Holt. Yeah,
Coach Holman.
Coach Holman. We've only gotten the chance to talk to him one time since we started the podcast up. How have you seen his growth as a head coach? Like, because you sit on the other side.
Well, Coach Holman is a really experienced head coach. He basically turned Lamar into a powerhouse out in the South, and that was where Texas State wants to be, competing for those conference championships and all of that stuff. It was just him. For me, it wasn't how's he going? It's no. With all of the work he did on Lamar, how is he going to implement that at Texas State? And so far, he's done an incredible job. I mean, we've got some really good soccer players.
Incredible head coaching experience too. He's got experience at the SEC level too. Everybody wants to be in the SEC. We're in the SBC. It means a lot, right?
We're rising.
We're rising.
Rising,
The sun
yes.
is rising. But yeah, Andrew was really mad that we did not talk to the soccer coach this year. But Andrew also did not book the soccer coach this year.
So here's the thing. Do you want me to book the guests? Because I barely got here on time. You want me to go get the guests too? So I'm doing a lot. Just get in here. Let's go through the rest of the stuff.
You're gonna bust out another my essay.
No, I got the scoreboard update for you as we do a live show.
Hey, before you do that, shout out to volleyball. Really big win on senior night.
Shout out our guy Alan over here.
Swear jar, baby.
That's pretty good.
Where
I like
did
that.
he put it? What did he?
But going to volleyball, they playing James Madison. Really big 3-0 swing. Amazing crowd, by the way. I think we had over 1,000 people at straight in, and talking to the players. Apparently they don't get that type of environment at any other Sunbelt schools. It's only at
Which is
Texas
for the
State.
best.
Yes.
Do not support volleyball if you're any other school in the Sunbelt Conference. Texas State fans keep doing the good work.
With this volleyball team, they were kind of going through some love because if you hadn't known,
This sucks. That's tough. He's giving me grief about my essay. His mom is texting him saying this product is awful. So, I don't know which is worse. It's honestly
just like you told Kelly when we were on the current. When I walk into a room, it's 2v1 every single time.
It's 2v1 every time.
I'm exhausted, dog. This is how I feel at the end of the night. This is such a long night for Colton, myself, and you. You don't even know this yet. Because the team, when they win tonight, they get their bowl bid.
they
right?
reach bowl eligibility.
When they reach bowl eligibility, they're going to walk down to the strand.
They're going to run down the sewer and jump in the river.
Thank God
So-
Colton's here.
So here's the deal. Whose job will be in jeopardy tonight? Because somebody's going to jump into that river who's not supposed to. And it's not going to be me. It's not going to be the Urban Cowboy. Jakey,
It's not going to be me. Wow. I'm not dressed. I'm in flannel right now. I'm in boots and jeans, actually. You think you're the only cowboy here, Colton?
No, so Colton's classic cowboy. Jacob looks like the Urban Outfitter cowboy. He looks like he should be on an episode of Yellowstone.
He's cooking.
He's not a ranch hand.
Why Urban? Why do you think he doesn't fit?
Yeah, youth urban. Anyway, so back to my point. I want to do the scoreboard update. Around the Sun Belt Conference, Marshall beat Coastal Carolina 31-19, and then God love ULM. After a tough loss to Texas State last week, they lose to Auburn 48-14. They are it's a paid game, so that helps out, but not great. Other games in progress right now. Georgia Southern and Troy tied up in the second quarter. Old Dominion with the ball, trailing Virginia 18-14, and game just started. Arkansas State and Georgia State 0-0 currently. Jacob, what is your thoughts on any of those games?
Oh, one of those was a pickup. Arkansas State and Georgia State. I picked the Red Wolves to just mollywop those boys from Georgia State. When you look at how bad a team like USM, University of Southern is today, and you look at Georgia State in the East, who's worse? What is the true worst team?
Do you want to pick a side and I'll defend the other one?
I'll pick-
I have an obvious answer.
So I would say Southern Miss because here's my thing. with Georgia State, like their coach left like halfway through spring training,
This is true.
spring practice, goes on to basically go back to South Carolina. So they had to basically start from scratch.
Yeah,
This
before
is,
the season.
like with Georgia State, this is the closest thing you can get to a year zero as you can get because like how unique their situation is. With Southern Miss, it's kind of like I don't know, like
They claim they're in year zero.
yeah,
So my take has been and continues to be that Georgia State has no reason being as bad as they are. That they are in Atlanta, they're in the Atlanta metro area. Georgia Tech is really their only regional rival competing for that talent. Georgia, of course, in state, that's going to be a tough one. But there's no reason for them to be out recruited the way they are year in and year out. So the way I look at it as, when you ask what's a worse situation, I would say Georgia State because they claim to be one of these powerhouses in the conference. Southern, of course, the better of the two teams in the conference. From the state of Georgia in the conference, State to me is a much worse situation because I don't know how to get out of that.
well, well, see, like there are a lot of teams like Georgia State. Like I mean, look at Charlotte. A
Okay.
team that theoretically, like, hey, we got all these high schools, like we can.
But Charlotte and Atlanta, Georgia are two different places.
Oh no,
Yeah.
well, I think that is the big difference between. But like with Georgia State, like I don't know. Theoretically, it's almost like Texas State. Like theoretically, you're in two football hungry states. There's a lot of money that gets poured into the high schools to develop like all these, but you have to have.
Super silly.
Well, like with Georgia State, I mean, I think you just have to get the new coach time because from what I've heard, he's a really good like high school recruiter. Like,
Yeah.
so like I think just give him a little bit of time. Like obviously, you can scratch this year off because like I don't expect anybody for a coach to come in like midway through spring practice. You're already missing the transfer portal or like deadlines and all of that stuff. So you can't really get players you want. So you're kind of stuck with your.
Yeah.
So like with Georgia State, it's kind of like let's see like how they go from there and all. I kind of want to give that coach a little bit more time. With Southern Miss, it has such an interesting story with Southern Miss because like before they joined Sunbelt and even before like the current iteration, they were a powerhouse. Like this was a team. Like a mid-major
As a
powerhouse.
prep school, yeah. As a prep school.
Now, Alan's here somewhere watching this. Did he give us $3 because we already swore?
No.
Or because
No.
he wants us to swear? Because we could do a segment right now that's technically sponsored and burn three no-no words.
You could burn 3 no-no words in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, I know. That's why I can't. I got to be limited.
Yeah.
So let me mine will just naturally come out, but you guys can.
We've talked on the pod a number of times about substance and how we're very much trying to stay on the street.
Pro recovery podcast.
Pro recovery podcast. Jacob is addicted to swear words like nobody I've ever met. It is like honestly every show that we do is on the deck of a ship. The way that this man talks.
I hate to say, but like I'm trying my best and I cannot swear. It doesn't help that
Oh, I got you. How's your current feud going with the Sam Houston State boy?
I'm just saying, like, don't be. Okay, to give y'all a little bit of background, I like using SP Plus. It's a advanced stat machine, and it tells you like, okay, here's how this team's doing against, because it breaks down like stats even further. And I was like, oh look, despite Sam Houston being
Professor McManus.
one of the best teams like in the group of five, like due to their record. When you look at SP Plus, which breaks down all their records, technically Texas State, UTSA, North Texas all ranked above like Sam Houston.
Yeah.
Like, it's a little bit weird and like it was just like a weird data point that I wanted to point out.
It would be like the fact that I'm better than Jacob for all these other reasons, but in season is the one that we're going to, right? That's what we're going to. Okay.
And so I just thought it was a weird data point, and all the Sam Houston State fans got in by mentions. And then they want to bring up this weird point, like, oh yeah, do you know since the Division I era, Sam Houston State has more wins than Texas State? And then I point out, well, if you look at the actual series history, Texas State has 50 wins over the Bearcats. So, like, don't be, like, cherry-picking, like, stats.
But then we always do that song and dance, too, when it comes to UTSA. They're always like, oh, okay. And you're going to put all of the teams in the world against us.
No,
We look at football. I don't know. I find myself in arguments like that all the time.
It was funny, like, when
I don't argue anymore on the internet. And I tried to explain to these young men countless times. The internet's undefeated. Do not argue with people on the internet. Papa Zimmel says, not a good idea.
Well, and then the last thing you want is like something to like go like slightly awry in your personal life, and then these losers on the internet just find that and go, "Hey, look at that! Look at this guy! He's a loser now!" And you're like, "Wait, hang on, what
That's
happened
kind
here?"
of why like I pick and choose like when to kind of drop stuff. Like when someone brings up like, oh yeah, you're so much better in Division One area, and you point up like the entire series issue. That's when I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna pop that. Just when the other teams try to like, when all the other people try to go in my mix, and like, I just point to my like, hey,
It's true. Jacob has really some personal trauma away from the podcast. I don't know if you knew this again. He had a rescue duck. There's a duck that he saw on the side of the road in Records Park. It's a rescue duck. It passed away sadly just a couple weeks ago, and he's kept it off the pod. He didn't want to talk about it. I guess I exposed it now, so UTSA fans can go get Jacob for his rescue duck that died, but you could say it's cooked, actually. But yeah.
Have you seen like the mallard duck emoji being used now? It's like you're ducking fights, or you're ducking an opponent, or you're ducking whatever. So they used it on this UFC stream, big UFC fight tonight. I know you guys were talking off the top. Well, I was trying to figure out camera land over here about the Jake Paul fight, I guess. Tyson. Pure theatrics at work. That's why I cashed $21 last night.
I remember Cedric Golden put out a tweet, like, because I guess people were mad about the people who betted on the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. Cedric Golden, magnificent tweet, never bet on boxing.
See, okay, I disagree with that. I would say that betting on boxing is more of a secure bet than betting on college football. I think that there have been more. I think more money has been lost betting on college football in games that are no brainers. No way this game should like go the way, and then versus boxing, where I can look at two guys and be like that guy more. Now, all that being said, I didn't lose any money yesterday on Tyson Paul, but I know some of friends, alter egos, had lost money.
I think Pat Bev lost a bunch of money. He bet big on Tyson. And then Dave Portnoy was the guy who didn't spend more money on Jake Paul. I don't know. Like he said, I'm stealing a take, I guess, from El Prez, but Jake Paul might be the best marketer in the entire world.
We should call Jake Paul for our next live.
No.
Because I've never seen a live stream for Jake Paul with the box that's like 3 inches across.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
I'll be curious to talk about it on Tuesday's pod.
I think it's going to be all right. I mean, this obviously is an attempt. You know, how many other shows are doing live stuff? I don't see too many. Just saying. And even the Sunbelt stuff, like the Sunbelt Syndicate show, Locked On Sunbelt, all those are pre-pro shows. So we might be the first live Sunbelt show.
Was there a guy that was here just a couple weeks ago with a group of 5?
Yeah, the group
live
of 5 guys,
show?
yeah.
Hey.
Absolute buffoon.
Right, I'm talking about schools that only represent the Sun Belt, or one team in the Sun Belt, because we don't represent the entire Sun Belt at all.
So cherry picking stats, you don't like that?
Move the goalpost to where you can score. That's what this team needs to do, Andy.
I don't disagree. Hangry Joe's in San Marcos, home of Squarin Live. We appreciate everybody who tuned in and watched live and also on the recorded version. And also, wanting a big shout out to J-Rod and Rue, our 2 hapless fans who came the entire time and watched us and rooted us on. Rooted against Jacob, which who doesn't? But rooted Colton and I on, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, shout out Hangry Joe's. Shout out to all the athletes that support. When you make a purchase over here, you're supporting the NIL stuff, Texas State. So it's kind of an easy way to make sure, literally, the team is fed, both financially and actually, you know.
And I'll tell you, Hangry Joe's has never given me any indigestion, unlike other places who are supporting it. Just a thought.
When are we going to do our NIL food tour review?
Colton, you already do it.
Oh yeah, I think they already do it.
I was gonna say, every time I look at Colton's like social media feeds, it's constantly going out and doing fun things. Should I be posting more? Is that what the take is?
I don't know, like, I like it because, like, since I got a bunch of Texas State people, they always like, oh, hey, I'm not Tap Room. Oh, I haven't been to Tap Room. I haven't been to Tap Room in forever.
Do you go to court when you go to these things? people like, because you're a regular there, like, do you hold court? Do people come up and talk to you and you like, are you like the big man on campus now?
Kind of.
Yeah, that's right, dog. Tokyo is cool. Like, I still haven't dropped one. Is that what the audience wants? I don't know.
Hit the like button.
Hit the like button, yeah. We need 10 people to join this stream right now to listen to Jacob curse, which you can do for free if you just follow me around. And then,
Yeah, I think it doesn't help. But like my profile picture on Twitter doesn't like it's not my face. I always throw something random and all of that stuff, so people don't actually recognize like my face and all of that stuff. But now they started recognizing the cowboy hat since I've been going to all since I started doing.
Start putting those context back in.
oh, the only Texas State alum that can probably outswear me, Taylor Sheridan in Yellowstone. And I always forget he's a Texas State alum, but Kelly is quick to remind me. So, yeah. Shout out Kelly Danfus. Before we go, scoreboard prediction. What do you guys think?
Spread's 28, so I think the Bobcats cover. So I'm thinking about 42-10 win.
49-28.
65-0. Let's shut these boys out.
Thanks for swearing, everybody.